And therefore, when you live in a holistic way, it includes a utilization of all that is available to you. So not just your infinite realm, but also your physicality. If you are going to be bringing your wisdom into the physical plane, then it is your physicality which is the conduit. And therefore, there is a proper use or a refined use or a master's use of the apparatus, of the avatar, the equipment which is available to you to facilitate an even greater capacity for wisdom. In this session, what we intend to do is give you some insight about how this avatar, this instrument, apparatus, which you have as an asset in this physical experience, can be in a way synchronized and utilized to bring forward a high capacity for wisdom into your physical experience. Thanks very much for being here. So many options, but here you are again. Thank you very much. I truly appreciate that. Please take a moment now to like, subscribe, comment, share on this video. Good news, the How to Channel course is now completely done. So what I'm going to do next is decide how it is that I release it. So I'm not really sure how I do that. So I'm going to have to do some more research, more learning, and then I'll go through the process of releasing it. In the time being, so that you can lock yourself into the VIP pricing, which is about 50% off, I've created a opt-in form. And so if you go to that now and add your details and join that list, then that will guarantee that you get access to the VIP pricing. It doesn't mean that you have to make the purchase. It just gives you the option. So if you decide later that you do want to do it, you'll get the VIP pricing. If you decide that you don't want to do it, then that's fine. No harm done. The 3 awakenings that save humanity. So it's time that you read this book if you haven't already. It's available in paperback, audiobook, and ebook. And the link for that is below. And this is the book which I co-authored with my guides. If you'd like to donate to me, well, now you can get something in return. I've created a membership site, and the links for that are below, and it will give you all the details regarding what you get. And the most expensive level is less than 2 quarters per day. So it's really cheap and a great way that we can help each other. And on to today's channel. This channeling is going to be a part 2 to last week. So last week was how to be as wise as the spiritual master, or what is the secret to the master's wisdom. And this week is the same topic, but part 2. Greetings and thank you for the question. What is the secret of the master's wisdom? Or how to be as wise as the spiritual master, part 2. We have decided to do a part 2 to this idea because in the last session, we did an analysis of this concept of using this part of you which isn't contained within the intellect, so that you are drawing upon some extra dimensionality of self that resides outside of the realm of intellectualism. But there is more to your capacity to be wise than just accessing this external realm where it is pure wisdom. You are a composite being. Yes, as we say many times, you are the infinite, invulnerable, immortal that existed before this life began and will continue to exist after this life concludes. And you are just temporarily animating this meat suit, this avatar. So, classically, this is not you. However, we say that you're a composite being because during this experience, relative to the physical 3D experience you are having right now, You are, in practical terms, a composite being because you are this eternal aspect, but you're also the blood, flesh and bones that you see in the mirror. So, let us begin in this way. It could be said that there is a layer to your reality, which is the geometric layer. It is the blueprint layer. So, everything that is in your physical experience is as it is on the basis of this geometric layer. And this geometric layer is on top of the energetic layer. So you have this layering effect, and the net result is your physical 3D experience, which in reality isn't real, it's illusory. And that is an aside which we have discussed before. So we won't go there in this particular session. So, focusing now on this geometric layer. It means that everything that you see in your physical experience is as it is on the basis of its geometry. And so this term of sacred geometry you may have heard before. It is a reference to this geometric layer, because geometry or mathematics, yet very complex and advanced mathematics, is able to explain your physical reality. Yet, you may have heard of people having hallucinogenic experiences using the various substances that have been put into your environment, and when consumed, give humans this effect, this internal hallucination or even external hallucination. And these substances can be quite potent in advancing your spiritual development, your expansion into a larger aspect of yourself. Because when you consume these substances, very typically, your consciousness bubble will expand. So now more of your infinity, which is usually outside of your consciousness bubble, is now inside your consciousness bubble. And so you have greater access to your infinite wisdom. And therefore, it is during these states that it is quite possible you have very profound epiphanies and awakenings. And of course, this is why ancient cultures throughout the world have used these plant medicines in this sacred way to help them receive guidance from the spirit realm, or from nature, or from God, or from the gods. And often during these experiences, there is this reference to seeing everything becomes geometrical. So when they are in the state, the hallucinogenic state, after the consumption of these substances, such as psilocybin mushrooms, such as ayahuasca, such as sativa, and so on, then when they have their eyes closed, they can see internal geometry. Everything seems to deconstruct into a geometric pattern. And when they open their eyes, they can see the objects in their environment, but even those seem to now have taken on a geometric characteristic. And so it is possible to see the geometry which is inherent to each of these objects in the environment. And this is because you are having a capacity to be aware, to be sensitive to this geometric layer, which is at the basis of everything. What we have just said is to just set up this concept in your mind that there is a geometry, and there is proof of it because there is the existence of sacred geometry as an art form or a discipline or a science in your cultures, very ancient, and also there is the lived experience which you may have yourself of being in an altered state and literally seeing and experiencing this geometric layer. So, we hope that you accept that this is part of your reality. So, if there is indeed a geometric layer to everything, so everything is a manifestation of its geometry, then this is the same as saying that everything in your physical reality is crystalline in nature. It has a property of crystal. It is a crystalline geometry at the basis of everything, because it is the coming together of many different geometrical forms, and these geometrical forms create yet a larger geometrical form. And so when your reality is viewed exclusively through this geometrical layer, it is by definition crystalline. It is a crystalline reality. And so when you are just in the normal state and you look about your environment, you see animals and flesh and blood people and trees and the wind blowing in the breeze. It does not appear to be crystalline. But understand that this is an illusory context, and the illusory context is based on these other layers, which form the hologram of the illusion, so to speak. And the hologram of the illusion requires this geometric crystalline layer for it to be as it is, to be as effective and believable that this is a very tangible reality. So, if everything in your reality is crystalline by definition, in a particular definition, then this is the same as saying that your brain itself is a crystalline instrument. And if it is a crystalline instrument, then it is going to be responsive to vibration. So, this is a known phenomenon of crystals, that crystals respond to vibration. So, if your brain is crystalline, then it can be changed or shifted in what type and quality of energy that it emits on the basis of what vibration it is receiving. So, this means that if you increase the vibration of your beingness, then you also increase the vibration of the crystalline structure of your brain at the geometric level. And so when the crystalline structure of your brain increases in its vibration, then it is able to emit a higher quality of information, a level of information which is beyond or a level up from what it can do or what it is capable of when it vibrates at a lower vibration. So when you look at a case such as Nikola Tesla, the modern world, much of what is in your world is based on the discoveries by this one very unique individual. And the reason that he was able to have such frontier leading ideas, among the reasons, is that he had a high vibration. He was able to incorporate a very high vibration into his crystalline structure of his brain at the geometric level. He was a highly intelligent individual, and part of this is due to the genetics and the biology. But what took him to a level which left him with no peers was his ability, whether it was conscious or unconscious, to increase the vibration of the crystalline structure of his brain to a level which was without peer in his lived experience as a human being. And therefore, at this realm, at this level, he is accessing ideas which are not available or were not available to anyone else. Thought. Let us add a little detail here to describe why this is so. Why, as your vibration increases, you are able to have a higher level of thought, a higher level of ideas, or it could be said, a higher level of intellect. So let us consider one thought that takes 1 second. And your crystalline brain is emitting a frequency. And this frequency has one crest in a 1 second thought. And so the quality of the idea that you have in this 1 second thought is reflective of this single crest or one complete wave inside the 1 second thought. However, if you were to increase the vibration of the crystalline brain such that now it is 10 times as many waves in this 1 second thought, so now it is 10 complete waves in this 1 second thought, that 1 second thought now has the capacity, the potential to contain 10 times the amount of data, 10 times the amount of information, 10 times the amount of calculation, and so on. And so what is produced is a thought with a higher potential to be an elevated thought. If you were to become very proficient in increasing your vibration, such that instead of just increasing it to 10 wavelengths in this 1 second thought, that you instead had 1,000 complete waves in this 1 second thought. And you compare that to the person who has 10, you are now producing ideas which are 100 times in potential of quality of thought, of quality of idea. So this is the basic mathematics of how it works. Going back to the channel from last week, so we connect this together so it becomes the part 2 of this idea. Then the master, as we have said before, is using this spiritual spectrum, the binary, to come to a fundamental understanding of an idea. And then that idea can be given an additional layer of sophistication, of intellectualism that is very true and pure because it is being motivated by the light end of the spiritual spectrum. But the idea has a quality of clarity and insight which makes it profound because the master's intellect is the result of a very high vibrating crystalline brain at this geometric level. And so now you have this overlap that we spoke about in the previous channel, where you have this mutual exclusivity between intellect and between wisdom. But there is some overlap. And what this overlap does, in the way that the spiritual master is able to be so wise and have very profound ideas, is because when there is a download, an intuitive sense of information, that information is then passed through the apparatus before it becomes a verbalized concept. And this is going to be very reliant on the quality of the intellect. If the intellect is able to produce a high quality of sophistication, meaning that there is a capacity to incorporate a lot of information, a lot of data, a lot of perspective into a single thought, then there is this combination now of a very wise, guttural, intuitive sense being verbalized in a very sophisticated and intellectual way. So, this does not preclude individuals that are not what they would refer themselves as intelligent, because the nature of the crystalline structure of your body at this geometric layer means that it has an almost infinite capacity for increasing in vibration. However, we say almost infinite because at some point the vibration would become so much that you would literally shift into a different form of what you are. And this is very relevant to the concept of ascension. Essentially, that is what will happen. Your vibration will increase to such a degree that you can no longer contain that vibration and be the classic third density human being. And you will, by default, transition into a fourth density state. And then this increase in vibration to infinity can continue because in this fourth density state exists the matrix for that possibility. So, to be as wise as the spiritual master, then again we go back to this very repetitive idea, which is increase your vibration. Make choices on the basis of how it will affect your vibration in as many opportunities as you possibly can. So, in a very simple rule set, do things that increase your vibration. Stop doing things that decrease your vibration. If you're honest with yourself and you live with an intuitive awareness, then you will know, is this good for me? Is this not good for me? And so it becomes easy to make that choice, particularly if you're already started to focus on this idea of increasing your vibration, which if you are here right now watching this because you have returned again and again and again, then we assume you are already beginning to make very conscious and deliberate decisions and changes and choices about who you are and the way that you live your life such that you increase your vibration. So, this does not need to be a long session. So we are going to transition into the conclusion. Start living your life as a higher vibrating being. So, if you wonder what that is, then just take a moment to pause and go into an inner sanctum and ask yourself, how does a higher vibrating being live? And of course, the answer will always be to live from a place of greater love and all of the derivatives of love. So, you begin living each moment using exclusively, as much as this is possible for you, the spectrum of the light, the derivatives of love. And they are gratitude, peace, happiness, joy, bliss, love. And the additional artifacts and abstractions are integrity, honesty, dignity, compassion, courage, and so on. And when you live exclusively, as much as you possibly can, in a very sincere way with these qualities, you are very naturally by default increasing your vibration. And if you combine this with regular sessions, which are either meditation or channeling or any spiritual practice which works for you, where you can go into a deep and profoundly peaceful, harmonious state, where you are free from all of the neuroses, free from all of the distractions of life, so that you can express very purely as your higher self aspect, which is a being of a very high quality of vibration. Then these together will incrementally increase your vibration more and more and more and more. The more that you do them, the higher your vibration becomes. And this is why it is referred to as spiritual practice. You must practice this. In a way, it could be thought of as pushing a rock up a hill. If you pause, then at some point, that rock will begin moving back down the hill from where it came. So, you can get to a point and then stop and rest, but at some stage, if you do not continue the journey of increasing your vibration, you will begin to lower your vibration. And the complete journey is to increase your vibration to such an extent that you reach the infinity of what is possible. And that is the point that you coalesce back into the identity in the full and complete realization that you are the one and always have been. So, to be as wise as you can be, not because you wish to be impressive, but instead because you wish to be most efficient in your spiritual evolution, most ready when the time comes for you to transition into the fourth density state, most loving and living a sense of joy and passion in everything that you do, in every experience that you have, then increase your vibration now, and the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment, into perpetuity. And you will discover that you will become wise beyond what you ever thought was possible for you. Because you are the wisest of beings, pretending that you are this small and reduced form that you see in the mirror. And the process of realizing that this is just an illusion and not the truth of who you are is truly underway. So embrace it, enjoy it, and discover what you are truly capable of. Thank you, and we love you. Hey, you made it to the end of another channeling session. Thank you. Mwah. So here's a little bit about me. I was thinking, what will I talk about today? Maybe this is interesting. I've lived in 8 countries in my life, and they include Australia, Japan, Mexico, Costa Rica, Canada, Spain, Colombia, and Brazil. So I think they're the 8 countries that I've lived in my life. And I've lived in some of them several times. I've lived in Mexico twice, I've lived in Costa Rica 3 times, and I've lived in Japan, I don't know, maybe 5 times. So I've moved around a lot and I've spent a lot of time in other countries. And Colombia, where I am now, is my most favorite country that I've ever lived because of the culture here. The culture is just amazing. Everybody here is just so lovely. It's like a big family. Before I came here, my favorite country was Costa Rica, and that's why I'd lived there 3 times in the past, because it's very similar and it also has great waves. But I got to say, the people here, although in Costa Rican people are fantastic, the people here are even better. And it's such a great community, and I walk out in the street now and I know so many people and say, how you doing? And I'm speaking full conversations with them in my bad Spanish, but I love it here. And if you are thinking of somewhere you would like to go in the world, Colombia, in my opinion, is a great choice. simply for the people and the culture here. And it's really inexpensive if you're coming from a Western nation. So, well, there you go. So there's a little bit more about me. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye.